If you think of 90s JDM hatchbacks, you probably think of one car in particular. But what you might miss is another small hot hatch with some great tuning potential from a little outfit called Toyota. Their tiny Starlet was nothing special. That was until the 1996 Glanza V dropped. But what the hell is this tiny turbocharged hatchback? Well, let's find out, because you're watching Quattro Cam. My name is Alex, and you are watching Is the Tiny Turbo Starlet Glanza a hidden JDM gem? So to get a true understanding of how awesome this little pocket rocket is, we need to understand two things. One, what was available at the time, and two, why the Starlet filled a much-needed gap. So first things first, 90s JDM cars were quite possibly the peak for most car enthusiasts. Akin to late 60s and early 70s muscle cars, 90s Japan was turning out classic after classic. We're talking FDR X7, Honda's supercar the NSX, the Mark IV Supra, Nissan's R34 GTR, the Subaru WRX, Mitsubishi's Evo, and Honda's Integra Type R, just to name a few. So it's clear why a small 1.3-litre turbo hatchback could get lost in all this noise. But this leads us to why the Starlet Glanza was needed. Let me explain. Think about buying one of the cars I mentioned before. Let's say you're fresh out of school, working your first job, trying to make your way in the world. Maybe you spend your spare time watching Initial D or your favorite YouTube channel, like this one that you're definitely subscribed to. What you probably have in common with me and 99% of the world right now is dropping 50, 60, 70, 100 grand on a JDM car is just not an option. But you still want in on that 90s JDM goodness. So what choices do you have? Well, as it turns out, Toyota has you covered. The Starlet started life as a subcompact car manufactured in 1973 until the turn of the millennium. It went through various changes throughout its life and left a mark on one of the greatest modern hatchbacks, the GR Yaris. You see, the Starlet would be Toyota's very first subcompact car to feature a hot version and would be replaced in the year 2000 with the new Yaris. The Starlet of 1973 was far from hot. In fact, it was pretty cold, likened to a shortened Corolla, with the original 3-door models being dubbed the Baby Celica. The Starlet had a choice of 1-litre and 1.2-litre engines, not a great starting block for a hot hatch. And the Starlet of the 1970s was never intended to be this. It was a Japan-only subcompact designed to fill a gap in Toyota's lineup. The second gen arrived in 1978 and was now exported to the world for the first time. And it couldn't have been timed more perfectly. The world had just gone through an oil crisis, and economical cars were all the rage. This second gen also started to receive some upgraded parts, including steering and suspension components, with the sports trim receiving the same alloys as early AE86s. These early Starlets were even rear-wheel drive. There would be a new engine for the later models, the 4E FTE. This was a 133 horsepower, 1.3-litre, 4-cylinder turbo engine that featured in the latest hot model of the Starlet, the Turbo R. This engine would be carried forward into the 4th gen Starlet, this time used in the newly named GT Turbo. The Starlet would also participate in the WRC, racing the Acropolis Rally in Greece, and won the A5 class. The Starlet also competed in the Starlet One-Make race in Japan, the Indonesian Touring Car Championship, and rallies in the Caribbean. The 4th gen Starlet GT Turbo had an amazing power-to-weight ratio, putting down that 133 horsepower or 99 kilowatts at 6,400 RPM. The car weighed in at 890 kilos or just under 2,000 pounds, providing a greater than 100 kilowatt per ton power to weight ratio, adding to its handling capabilities carried over from previous generations. It was this Starlet, thanks to its engine and handling, with some models even receiving an LSD, that won the hearts of many car enthusiasts, creating a cult following for the tiny Toyota. But more was yet to come. 1996 would give us the Glanza. The replacement for the GT Turbo was offered in two trims, the S and the V. The Glanza S would feature a naturally aspirated 4E, with the V retaining the turbo version. Both remained super lightweight, with the Glanza V now boasting 138 horsepower. This enabled the tiny Toyota to hit 60 in 8.2 seconds. And don't think this engine was maxed out from the factory either. The Glanza can be modified extensively, and many reliably make 200 horsepower, which in a car weighing less than 900 kilos is insane. And if you can find one at a reasonable price, you will have something no other car can offer. A 90s JDM hidden gem that drives like it's on rails, has bags of character, and will put a smile on your face every single time you get behind the wheel. So if you want in on the JDM bubble, Toyota's tiny turbo Starlet Glanza is the JDM hatchback you might want to consider. But if the Starlet isn't your cup of tea, maybe check out some of these other videos instead. We cover a whole host of car content on the channel, so we're sure that you'll find something that you like. And on the subject of likes, why not like this video if you made it this far and subscribe to the channel? This will keep you updated on all our new content coming out in 2024.